Imagine if suddenly everyone around you looked like a pig. Doesn't matter if you're on the bus or on a date with the most beautiful woman in the world. To you, they're all just pigs. You can't make friends, you can't fall in love, and even a cute dog looks like a snorting pig to you. For Yuan, this isn't imagination, it's his entire life. Desperate for a cure, he visited a psychiatrist. He just wanted to be normal, but that was the last thing he'd become. The hospital stood tall against the bright sky. Inside, a sign clearly marked the psychiatry department. A doctor's voice echoed, "You're saying every living creature you see looks like a pig." The red-haired doctor sat across from Yuan, waiting for his answer. Yuan simply nodded, his face serious. The doctor, looking surprised, asked, "Are you joking with me? So in your eyes, I'm a pig too?" Yuan met her gaze, his eyes intense. "That's right," he stated flatly, confirming her worst suspicions. The doctor, who looked like a pig to Yuan, seemed puzzled. She thought to herself, "I've never heard of a condition like this before." She looked down at Yuan, her eyes softening. She thought he was a handsome young man. Her hand moved to her shirt. Yuan stared with wide, shocked eyes as the doctor continued, "Let's first check if your body functions are normal." The doctor smiled, her gaze fixed on Yuan. "So what do you see right now?" But instead of a delightful moment, Yuan saw the doctor as a pig, with two smaller pigs attached to her. The doctor, unaware of his vision, thought, "I don't believe it. I'm so beautiful. Even in a madman's eyes, I can't be a pig." Yuan looked at her, his expression blank. "Two pigs," he said simply. The doctor stared at Yuan, her face filled with shock and worry. She thought to herself, "He really is mentally ill." The doctor pointed to a spine model on her desk. "Your spine has serious problems." She explained that his spine was severely deformed and twisted, unlike a normal person's. It was even pressing on his brain and optic nerves. "This might be the reason why everyone looks like a pig to you," she said. Yuan's eyes widened in surprise. The doctor continued with a serious expression. "The only solution is surgery to realign your spine, but the success rate is low. If it fails, you might be paralyzed from the neck down." Yuan stared, his face frozen in complete shock at the grim news. Yuan, looking fed up, interrupted the doctor. "Are you done talking?" His eyes glowed red as he pointed at the spine model in her hands. "Then can you give me back my spine?" The doctor looked surprised. She thought to herself, he actually thinks the model is his own spine. Such a handsome guy. What a waste. Leaving the hospital, Yuan found himself on a bus. He sat among other passengers, looking tired and letting out a big yawn. He thought, "Since I can remember, everything I see looks like a pig." Looking at everyone around him, he thought this strange vision might be because his parents were pig butchers. It didn't really affect his life much, except when he tried to date. Today was the day to awaken his profession, and he had hoped this illness would be cured before then. He realized it wasn't going to happen. Soon, Yuan arrived at the Confronting Academy awakening ceremony site. A huge, glowing blue crystal stood tall in front of a grand building, surrounded by many students. Suddenly, a blue-haired girl called out to him, her cheeks slightly red. "Bro Yuan, you're finally here. If you were late, I'd beat you up, got it?" But to Yuan, the girl in front of him wasn't a girl at all. She was a smiling pig. The pig-faced girl pouted, still waiting for his answer. "Did you hear me?" Suddenly, a male student nearby complained, watching Zhu Lingxuan cling to Yuan. "Why are you clinging to Yuan? You two keep acting lovey-dovey every day." Someone in the crowd whispered, "They're childhood sweethearts. They'll probably get married and have kids after this awakening." Zhu Lingxuan's cheeks flushed, and she quickly denied it. "Don't talk nonsense." Yuan just smiled faintly, still seeing a pig's face pressed against his arm. "Line up according to your student number. The ceremony is about to start." Below, a massive, glowing crystal stood tall, surrounded by students. Awakening is based on strength, agility, and spirit. The higher your attributes, the better your chances of awakening an advanced profession. During the ceremony, focus all your energy. The profession you awaken will affect your entire life. A burly student stepped forward, ready to begin. The student placed his hand on the glowing crystal. Lightning crackled around him as the stone lit up, revealing his awakened profession. Life-type profession, intermediate metalworker. He looked shocked. Another student saw his profession, an advanced healer. While the other students were shocked, his profession flashed on the stone, junior engineer. Then, a red-haired student walked nervously towards the stone, his eyes wide with fear as he reached out his hand. The moment his hand touched the stone, a brilliant golden light burst forth. The stone glowed brightly, revealing the red-haired student's amazing profession. A combat type, rare-tier shadowless bladesman. The principal stared, his mouth wide open in shock. While the other students were shocked, the principal asked, "Student, what's your name?" Looking very proud. "Principal, I'm Liu Jinglong," he announced. The principal said, "Later, I'll personally finally visit your home to discuss your future path." Liu Jinglong waved to the cheering students, who shouted, "Bro Long is awesome." Turning to the next student, the principal called out, "Next up, Yi Chuan." Yi Chuan stepped onto the testing platform. From the crowd, a blue-haired girl cheered loudly. The principal looked at Yi Chuan, thinking about his strange nature. He knew Yi Chuan's stats were incredibly high. Normal people usually had a combined total of about 3, but Yi Chuan had 3 times more. Yi Chuan stared down at the glowing platform, his hands outstretched. He wondered if something miraculous was about to happen. Suddenly, a powerful surge of red and purple energy erupted from the platform, engulfing Yi Chuan and the principal. The crowd below gasped, shielding their eyes from the intense light. The principal stared in disbelief, his mouth hanging open. "It's a divine tear," he said. But then, the glowing pillar revealed Yi Chuan's new profession. Life-type profession, Divine Pig Butcher. The long-haired man's face twisted in disbelief. Pig Butcher. The crowd around them erupted in laughter, finding the situation hilarious. Principal Zhao stood there, disappointed by Yi Chuan's new profession. He lamented that if it had been a divine blacksmith, healer, or alchemist, he would have had a reason to boast. The man then covered his face, looking utterly defeated. Suddenly, blue light flashed in front of Yi Chuan. He wondered what was happening. Screen popped up. It showed his Tier 1 apprentice. His stats were listed below: strength at 5, agility at 3, and spirit at 2. His talents were Swine Nemesis and Blade of Godslaying, and his profession skill was Bloodshadow Butcher level 1. Swine Nemesis allowed him to deal 50% bonus damage to pigs, with the bonus increasing by 1% for every pig killed. On top of that, pigs would only deal half damage to him. Blade of Godslaying let him choose any weapon as a pig slaughtering knife. Each pig he killed with it would grant a 0.1 free attribute point. Bloodshadow Butcher released a killing aura that forced pigs into a 1-second fear state. His eyes landed on the 50% bonus damage to pigs. A grin slowly spread across his face. Maybe being a lunatic wasn't so bad after all. Yi Chuan looked out at the vast crowd. To his eyes, every single person, from the closest man in a suit to the furthest spectator, had the face of a pig. Yi Chuan walked slowly, his head down, past a giant, shimmering purple crystal. Below, a crowd of students looked at him. As Yi Chuan walked, laughter erupted from the crowd. 2 students in front of him openly mocked him. Liu Jinglong couldn't stop laughing. "I thought Confronting Academy would finally produce a real dragon, but turns out he's just a pig butcher." A student beside him snickered, "And he claims the academy only has one real dragon. And that's you, brother Liu Jinglong, enjoying the attention." "You punk," he replied, still grinning. Suddenly, a girl with long blue hair, Zhu Lingxuan, walked up to Yi Chuan. She stood beside him, her back to the jeering crowd. "It's okay, brother Yi Chuan," she said softly, trying to comfort him, gently placing a hand on his head. "You awakened the divine-level pig butcher, so you're basically following in your father's footsteps." The 2 men watching looked furious. Damn it, that lucky brat must have saved up good karma over many lives. Yi Chuan looked at the blushing Zhu Lingxuan. He thought about how happy his Uncle Yi and her dad would be. They had been neighbors since they were kids. He remembered how their parents, all having everyday jobs, had always tried to set them up. Then, an older man with long white hair standing in front of the grand building called out, "Next up, Zhu Lingxuan." As the blue-haired Zhu Lingxuan walked forward, she looked at Yi Chuan. She wondered if she would get her mom's job as a tailor or her dad's job as a winemaker. But she knew one thing for sure: no matter what job she got, she would always stay by his side. Yi Chuan stared blankly, a look of surprise on his face. The blue-haired woman placed her hand on the glowing stone. Suddenly, a powerful blue light burst from it, shooting high into the sky, making everyone gasp in awe. Her eyes widened, glowing with the same blue light as the stone. She looked completely stunned by the power flowing through her. An old man with long white hair yelled in disbelief, "What? That's a legendary profession." His face showed pure shock. A blue screen appeared in the air, announcing her new power. It read, "Combat type profession, legendary tier, Snow Soul Sword Immortal." The blue energy surrounded the woman, making her long hair flow as she stood tall, as a powerful aura pulsed around her. The crowd below looked up in awe at the newly awakened Snow Soul Sword Immortal. The principal stared in shock, his eyes wide. He couldn't believe it. He thought, aren't her parents both life-type? This must be some kind of mutation. The principal approached Zhu Lingxuan, who still glowed with power. He spoke to her. "Zhu Lingxuan, don't worry. Whatever you need in the future, Confronting Academy will fully support you." Now walking down the steps, smiled gently. She replied, "Thank you." Among the crowd, Two women watched Zhu Lingxuan leave. One, with her hair tied back, spoke to her friend. One's a pig butcher, the other's a legendary combatant. You think Zhu Lingxuan will still follow Yi Chuan around like a puppy? Is that even a question? Zhu Lingxuan is getting better, but what about Yi Chuan? That loser should just stay away from her. Yi Chuan, looking surprised, clapped his hands together and congratulated her. Zhu Lingxuan stared at him with a serious face. She began, her arms crossed. I admit there were some misunderstandings between us, but from now on, let's clear things up. We're no longer people from the same world. Yi Chuan's eyes widened in shock. In the background, two students smirked and laughed at his shocked face, but Yi Chuan, with a happy smile, replies, "Fine, I know this must be a huge blow to you. Don't pretend like you're fine." She coughed softly, then added that he was just a pig butcher and would never achieve anything big. She hoped he wouldn't blame her. The pig-faced woman, "If you've got no objections, then let's call it settled," she said. "Just don't bother me again in the future." Yi Chuan turned to leave. He thought to himself, "Finally, got rid of that pig head." He then added aloud, "If there's nothing else, I'll be going." As Yi Chuan walked away, Liu Jinglong, who had been watching, "Zhu Lingxuan," he said, "need me to teach him a lesson so he sees reality clearly." Zhu Lingxuan looked on, a cold expression on her face as the red-haired student's grin widened. Suddenly, the red-haired student's face twisted in anger. He pointed at Yi Chuan's retreating back and yelled, "Pig butcher, get over here." Yi Chuan just ignored him and kept walking. The red-haired student, still fuming, grabbed Yi Chuan's arm. "I'm talking to you. Are you deaf?" he shouted, his face twisted in anger. Yi Chuan's eyes glowed red as he stared at the student. "What do you want?" he asked, his voice flat. As Yi Chuan spoke, his face became shadowed, his eyes burning with a terrifying purple light. The red-haired student, caught in his intense gaze, stumbled back, yelling. He looked completely shocked and scared. He felt like a terrified pig tied down on a chopping block with a knife held high above it, just waiting to be slaughtered. Suddenly, the surrounding crowd burst into laughter, pointing at the red-haired student. One student called out, "Brother Jinglong, what happened to you? Are you okay?" The red-haired student, Jinglong, was absolutely fuming. "Damn it, you brat." His face twisted in rage. "You dare glare at me?" he screamed, winding up for a punch. But Yi Chuan was ready. His eyes narrowed, glowing with a fierce red light. With incredible speed, his fist shot out, meeting Jinglong's attack head-on. A horrifying scream tore from Jinglong's throat. His hand was mangled and bloody, clearly broken from the force of Yi Chuan's punch. The other students watched in stunned silence, their eyes wide with disbelief. The red-haired man screamed in disbelief, his face twisted in shock. He couldn't understand. How could a pig butcher do this? But Yi Chuan just stood there. He explained calmly that as a pig butcher, of course he had serious strength in his hands. Liu Jinglong, his face contorted with pure fury, roared at Yi Chuan. Blue energy crackled around him as he screamed, "I'm going to kill you." With a powerful yell, he manifested a glowing blue, curved sword made of pure energy. Two female students watched. "It's over," one of them whispered. "Brother Jinglong is serious now." The other added, "Why did a pig butcher have to pick a fight with a combat class user? Couldn't he just back down?" Liu Jinglong stood ready, his glowing blue void longsword humming with power. Everyone knew that sword could cut right through a steel pipe. "I'm going to cripple you right here." As Liu Jinglong lunged, a sudden wave of ice magic erupted, freezing his attack midair. The blue energy spread across his body, trapping him. He stared in shock, realizing his body was completely frozen and he couldn't move. He looked towards Zhu Lingxuan, demanding to know why she was still helping Yi Chuan. Stepped forward. She crossed her arms and firmly told them to stop fighting, as she declared she didn't want to see them fighting so fiercely because of her. Zhu Lingxuan turned to Yi Chuan. She told him that they were no longer from the same world. She explained that this was the last time she would help him, calling it a farewell to their past. Yi Chuan just rubbed his ear while listening to her. She turned her back to him, adding, "Leave Qingcheng Academy. Otherwise, the next time Liu Jinglong comes for revenge, I won't help you again." Yi Chuan seemed unfazed. He let out a big yawn and stretched, saying, "If there's nothing else, I'll be going now." Two students watched him leave. "This kid," one of them muttered, "it's like he doesn't take any of this seriously." Leaving the school behind, Yi Chuan walked down a sunny city street, looking calm. Suddenly, a fierce dog lunged and barked loudly at his feet. A woman in a red dress stood nearby. He looked down, surprised by the sudden attack. To Yi Chuan, the old lady looked like a pig wearing a red dress and a gold necklace. Even the dog at her feet had the face of a pig. The dog continued to gnaw at Yi Chuan's pants. He looked at the woman and said, "Can you pull your pig, I mean dog, away? It's blocking my way." She glared at Yi Chuan and snapped, "Do you own this road? Have you no manners? Young people these days have no compassion at all." Yi Chuan remained calm. He thought, perfect timing, I have a theory to test. With a sudden move, Yi Chuan kicked the dog, sending it flying through the air. The woman screamed in shock. A small ghostly spirit floated, as if its soul had left its body. A blue system notification popped up, stating that his extra damage had increased by 1%. Yi Chuan's eyes widened. Just as I thought, he muttered. It really works. The pig-faced woman, her face twisted in fury as she screamed, "You damn murderer! You dare kill my son and bully an old woman like me. I'll fight you to the death." Yi Chuan stared back and pulled out a paper. "I'm a psychopath," he said, showing her his certificate. The woman's eyes went wide with terror. "Is there anything else?" he asked flatly. "If not, I'm leaving." The old woman's bravado completely vanished. She thought to herself, "I've run into a psycho. Forget killing my dog. Even if he slaughtered me too, I'd have died for nothing." Her fear quickly turned into a forced, sweet smile. "It's nothing," she said. "Young man, take care of yourself." After the strange encounter, Yi Chuan made his way back to his home. Inside, his parents greeted him warmly. His dad chuckled. "Son, did you change your job to a pig butcher?" Yi Chuan, looking surprised, simply agreed. "You really are like me. It's good for us to just be honest pig butchers. It's much better than all that fighting and killing. Tomorrow, I'll take you to the slaughterhouse so you can get used to it." As night fell, the crescent moon hung high in the sky over Yi Chuan's house. Yi Chuan lay fast asleep in his bed, ironically wearing pig-themed pajamas. Meanwhile, inside his parents' room, a shadowy figure with glowing blue eyes watched from the window. Yi Chuan, the father, sensed the presence and spoke into the darkness. "I'm sure you know by now, my son is just an ordinary pig butcher. Don't come and disturb our lives again." The shadow replied with a cold laugh. "I never thought the son of the ghost cry would actually be a pig butcher. Is this child really your biological son?" Yi Chuan's eyes glowed red with anger. "I've said it before, don't disturb us again. Otherwise, I won't be so polite." The shadowy figure calmed down, assuring him that the organization would no longer trouble them since his son was merely a pig butcher. With that, the figure vanished into the night. The next day, inside the slaughterhouse, large cuts of meat hung from hooks as workers moved busily about. Yi Chuan walked alongside his father, who pushed open a curtain. Yi Chuan stood before a display case, holding 3 sharp knives. His father's words echoed. "A good pig butcher starts with a good knife." Yi Chuan gestured towards the knives. "Come on, son," he said. "Pick the one that feels best in your hand." Yi Chuan stared at the blades, his eyes wide with a mix of surprise and uncertainty. He reached out, his hand now covered by a black glove, and picked up one of the knives. "This one is very suitable," he said. Suddenly, a blue system notification flashed before his eyes. It announced that the pig-slaying knife had been selected, and its god-slaying edge was now active. The system promised a 0.1 free attribute point for every pig killed with this special knife. Nearby, a large pig hung upside down. His father continued the lesson. "As a pig butcher, the first step is to learn how to use your knife." The pig in front of him looked monstrous. A loud squealing sound filled the air. "Aim for the weak spot. 1 hit, 1 kill," he instructed. Yi Chuan, holding a knife, prepared himself. Yi Chuan, with his glowing red blade, struck down a monstrous, shadowy pig. The blow was powerful, sending blood splattering. The pig fell. Its eyes rolled back in death. A blue system notification popped up, granted him 1% experience, and raised his pig slayer extra damage by 1%, along with 0.1 free attribute points. Yi Chuan's father, Yi Chuan, looked at him with a mix of pride and critique. "Great job," he said. "The only problem is your aim wasn't quite good enough for a 1-hit kill. You need to aim for the main artery in the neck." Yi Chuan nodded, listening carefully. "Son, I know butchering pigs must be pretty boring for a kid your age," he began, a gentle smile on his face. "But this is our livelihood." Yi Chuan, his eyes wide with a strange enthusiasm, pointed at the rows of pigs in the butcher shop. "Dad, can I kill all of these pigs?" he asked eagerly. His father burst into hearty laughter, beaming with pride. "That's my boy," he exclaimed. "If you want, you can even handle the pigs." Yi Chuan, with fierce determination, continued to slice through the pigs. His blade glowed with power. As he took down one after another, a system notification popped up, confirming he had killed 1 normal pig. His pig slayer extra damage increased by 1%. He gained 0.1 free attribute point, bringing him to level 2. He kept going, his blade still glowing as he took down another. The system confirmed another kill, increasing his pig slayer extra damage by 1%, granting him 0.1 free attribute point, and pushing his level to 3. The notifications kept coming. With each precise strike, another pig fell, and the system announced he had killed another normal pig. His pig slayer extra damage increased by 1%. He gained 0.1 free attribute point, and his level rose to 4. Time passed quickly as Yi Chuan continued his relentless work. Soon, a long line of processed pigs lay before him. Yuan sat down, satisfied. A final system notification appeared, detailing his progress. He had killed a total of 49 normal pigs. His pig slayer extra damage had increased by a whopping 100%, and all 3 of his stats had gone up from 10 to 15. His current rank was now level 5 apprentice. Nearby, one of the older men, looking surprised, spoke to the other. "Is that your son? He's gotten addicted to this. He just did our whole week's worth of work." Yuan's father let out a proud chuckle. He declared proudly, "After all, my son is a god-tier butcher." Yuan looked down at the glowing butcher knife in his hand. He felt a new confidence, thinking, "I've gotten the hang of the butcher knife now." The next day, Yuan, carrying a backpack, thought it was finally time to leave and see the outside world. The world outside was a dangerous place. Many different races and powerful demons roamed freely. Humanity had changed too. They no longer had separate countries, but had formed a human federation, split into 9 special zones. The city of King Cheng, where Yuan was, sat in the borderlands of the 5th special zone. Above the city walls, the sky stretched wide, hinting at the vast world Yuan was about to explore. Leaving the city behind, Yuan walked through the massive gate that led to the borderlands. Guards with heavy axes stood watch. A guard stopped Yuan to give him a stern warning. "You've got a life skill profession. Once you're outside the city, stay within a 1-kilometer radius. Go any further, and you'll be in serious danger." The guard looked at Yuan, making sure he understood. "Understand?" he asked. Yuan simply agreed. Ignoring the warning, Yuan ventured deeper into the forest. Suddenly, a rustling sound caught his attention. A small green goblin with a pig face and a knife lunged out from the bushes. Yuan's eyes widened in surprise. Yuan's eyes glowed red. He knew this was a good chance to test out his new skill, Blood Shadow Butcher. The goblin's eyes widened in terror. With a swing of his butcher knife, he killed the goblin. A blue system notification popped up, confirming the kill of the goblin pig. It rewarded him with 5% experience and boosted his pig slayer extra damage by 1%, along with 0.1 free attribute points. Yuan realized that the stronger the pig he killed, the bigger the boost he would get. Standing in the dark forest, Yuan looked around. He noticed many glowing green eyes. He remembered his teacher's words. "If you spot one goblin, it means a whole group has already spotted you. Time for a huge boost. Come on, you goblin pigs," he declared, ready for a fight. The goblins, a horde of them, shrieked and charged forward, their small bodies moving with surprising speed from all directions. Yuan leaped into the fray, his cleaver a blur. He swung it wide, cutting through the charging goblins. One goblin stared up in terror. A chilling smile spread across his face as he taunted the remaining creatures. "Come on, little ones, let's play." The last goblin ran in fear from this monstrous butcher. Following the goblin from behind, he found himself in front of a massive, dark cave entrance. He realized this might be the goblin cave. A chilling smile spread across his face. He gripped his knife, ready for whatever awaited him inside. Soon, the cave floor was littered with the bloodied bodies of goblins. A blue system screen popped up before him. His level had reached rank 6 apprentice. His strength, agility, and spirit had all increased to 25. He now deals 120% bonus damage to pigs. Suddenly, he heard a weird sound from a wooden barrier near him. Without hesitation, he brought his foot down, shattering the wooden planks with a loud crack. As the barrier broke, a horrifying scene unfolded. A woman with a ponytail was bound, unable to scream as 2 goblin children crawled dangerously close, though physically unharmed. Tears streamed down the woman's face as she looked at Yuan, her eyes wide with terror, desperately begging for him to save her. "This system is crazy, but you know what sucks? Waiting a week for the content you are addicted to. If you hate waiting, check out the Dungeon Crawler Carl audiobook for completely free. It has everything we love: dungeons, systems, a talking cat killing goblins, and the best part, this series has over 135 hours of content. Use the link below to start listening for free." Now back to the pig slaughtering. Yuan stood over her, his knife glowing with a dangerous red light. The terrified woman could only think, "Don't kill me." She squeezed her eyes shut, bracing for the strike, but instead, Yuan's glowing slashes flew past her, tearing through the goblin-like creatures that had been hiding behind her. While she screamed in shock, he cut through the ropes that bound her, setting her free. Yuan knelt beside her, his expression calm, almost annoyed. "Stop shouting," he told her. "The goblins are all dead." The brown-haired woman, tears streaming down her face, looked at the dead goblin. She turned to Yuan, her voice filled with relief. "Thank you for coming to save me." She threw her arms around Yuan, hugging him tightly. He looked surprised, his eyes wide. "I didn't come here to save you," he blurted out. Ignoring his words, She looked around at the many dead goblins scattered on the ground. Did you kill all of these? You're amazing. Are you a combat-type profession? She asked, impressed. Yuan started to walk away, but she called after him. What's your name? He stopped and pointed towards the cave entrance. Yuan, he replied. Once you're out of the cave, head in that direction, and you can get back to the city, leaving the woman behind. Yuan walked out of the cave and into the dark, quiet forest, the only sound the rustling of leaves under his feet. As Yuan walked through the quiet forest, a young woman with brown hair, wearing a red top that exposed her shoulders, peeked out from behind a tree, watching him shyly. Yuan suddenly turned, his eyes wide with suspicion. He yelled at her, "Why are you following me? Are you a spy sent by the goblins?" The woman screamed in fright. She threw her hands up in surrender, as Yuan held his large knife close to her face. She cried, "No, I'm just scared to go back alone." Yuan lowered his knife slightly, his expression softening a bit. "I see. What's your name? Why are you here?" The woman, still looking nervous, replied, "My name is Zia Nanan." She explained, her voice a little sad. "My mother's birthday is in a few days. I originally wanted to find a blood moon flower to give him as a gift, but I didn't expect to be captured by goblins." Zia Nanan then looked at Yuan, a hopeful look on her face. "How about we make a deal? If you help me find the blood moon flower, I'll help you find the best weaponsmith in Qingcheng to forge a new knife for you." Yuan, looking at her, asked, "Do you have any idea how much it costs for the best weaponsmith in Qingcheng to forge a knife?" He then bluntly told her, "Go back. Stop following me, or I'll chop you." Zia Nanan stood with her hands on her hips, a frustrated look on her face. She thought to herself, "I'm a great beauty by any measure. How can this kid be so cold towards me? Is there something wrong with his head?" As they continued walking through the forest, the red-dressed girl called out to Yuan, "Hey, do you know who I am? My dad's name is Zia Beihai." Yuan turned his head slightly, a surprised expression on his face. He thought he knew that Zia Beihai was the head of the Zia family, one of the 4 great noble families of Qingcheng. He was a 9th-rank master, just one step away from being a grandmaster. A sly smile spread across Yuan's face. "For real," he muttered. He realized that if this was true, with her father's wealth, getting 10 top-tier butcher knives would be no problem at all. Zia Nanan, holding up a small amulet, explained, "This is the Zia family's protective amulet, and it's also a means of protection my father gave me." She then added, "Even a transcendent expert couldn't harm me in the slightest, but that group of goblins was too cunning and treacherous. I was captured because they ambushed me." The girl continued, explaining that others couldn't get close to her, which is why they locked her away. Otherwise, she might have been taken by them. He realized this mysterious item was really a product of the Zia family. Yuan listened intently, then held out his hand. "All right, I believe you," he said. "I'll help you find the blood moon flower, and you'll help me get a top-tier knife forged." The girl looked at him, surprised. Her face lit up, and she beamed, grabbing his hand. "Deal," she exclaimed excitedly. She then pulled out a map. "This is a map I bought from someone else," she explained, her finger tracing a path to an X mark. "It marks the location of the blood moon flower." A worried look crossed her face. "But where there's a blood moon flower, there's also a blood moon great python. It will be very dangerous." Yuan's eyes widened slightly. According to the Wilderness Survival Guide, the blood moon great python has strength comparable to a 9th-rank apprentice. "I don't know if my current strength is enough to deal with it." Yuan's face lit up with a sinister smile. He seemed excited by the danger. "I've never seen a giant python in my whole life," he exclaimed. The girl, Zhu Lingxuan, knelt on the ground looking flustered and unsure. She wondered if he was even listening to her. Still, she couldn't help but think that since he had wiped out an entire goblin tribe by himself, he must be a powerful combat expert. Yuan pointed forward. "Let's go. You're in charge of leading the way," he commanded. Zhu Lingxuan looked surprised. She felt a strange mix of emotions, thinking, "I don't know why. This guy gives off a feeling of being both reliable and unreliable at the same time." Following his lead, they moved carefully through the tall, dense grass. Zhu Lingxuan, peeking through the tall grass, urgently warned them about the creature ahead. "That's a silver-horned rhinoceros. We absolutely must not provoke it." She explained that if the rhino got angry, its strength would be like an 8th-rank apprentice. Zhu Lingxuan suggested they just go around it quietly. "We just need to quietly go around it." But then she saw Yuan's hand, gripping his cleaver, ready to strike. Her eyes widened in shock. "What are you doing?" Yuan, however, had other plans. He held his cleaver out, his eyes burning with resolve. "If it dares to eat grass today, It will dare to eat people tomorrow. It cannot be left alive. Zhu Lingxuan stared at him, completely dumbfounded by his strange logic. What kind of reasoning is that? Ignoring her disbelief, Yichuan burst forward, charging straight towards the rhinoceros. The rhinoceros, already on the ground, was met with Yichuan's furious descent. He brought his massive cleaver down with incredible speed, a blur of motion and power. His attack was swift and brutal, slicing through the beast with multiple slashes. The massive rhinoceros fell, dead, leaving dark splatters on the ground. Standing behind the now lifeless monster, the girl in the red dress stared in disbelief as green liquid splattered from the dead beast. Her shock deepened, her face a mask of utter surprise. "He killed it in one strike," she exclaimed. Yichuan looked surprised as a blue system prompt appeared above him. It announced that his level had increased to a 7th rank apprentice. He had successfully slain a silver-horned rhinoceros, and his pig clan nemesis bonus damage had gone up by 122%. He looked down at his cleaver, a worried thought crossing his mind. He wondered how much longer the knife would hold up. Zia Nanan with her brown twin tails asked him, her voice filled with curiosity. "Yichuan, what on earth is your profession?" Yichuan looked away, his expression serious. "A life-type profession," he replied. "Pig butcher." She stared at Yichuan, her face flushed with disbelief. "Impossible," she exclaimed. "How could a life-type profession kill a silver-horned rhinoceros in one hit?" Yichuan, ignoring her shock, knelt down and expertly cut off the rhino's horn. He knew the rhino horn was good stuff. Zia Nanan continued to stare. She tried to make sense of it all. She thought, this rhino was probably just too old. That's why it died so quickly. Then, her thoughts shifted to their goal. "We're almost there. The location of the blood moon flower is very close." She looked at Yichuan again, a new realization dawning on her. She admitted to herself, this kid looks like he's not lying, leaving the dead rhino behind. They continued their journey. They walked deeper into the dark, dense forest, the trees looming around them. Meanwhile, in another part of the forest, sunlight streamed through the canopy, illuminating a different group of adventurers. A curvy woman in a beige dress, a man in a brown coat, and a muscular man with red hair walked cautiously through the trees. Leading them was a calm-looking man with long, flowing white hair, dressed in a sharp brown coat. He moved with an air of quiet confidence. Principal Zhao, looking pleased, addressed his students. "For this field training, you have all performed well," he continued, his gaze sweeping over the group, including the serious blue-haired woman and the smirking red-haired man. "You are truly the students I think highly of." Suddenly, the leader's expression sharpened. His ear twitched as he sensed something. "Wait, there's movement." He turned, shouting into the shadowy woods where two figures stood as silhouettes. Zhu Lingxuan also looked back curious. "Who's there? Come out." From the depths of the forest, Yichuan and the girl with pigtails emerged, looking a little confused. Yichuan stared at the group, a thought forming in his mind. Why are these guys here? Liu Jinglong's expression twists into a mix of shock and manic delight as he recognizes the intruder. He points an accusing finger, shouting, "Yichuan, why is it you? What are you doing here?" Yichuan scratches the back of his head, acting completely unbothered by the hostility. He replies flatly, feigning ignorance, "Just passing by." Liu Jinglong, looking angry, asks what he said. The blonde woman beside them scoffs, clearly not believing a word of his excuse. She steps forward, her voice dripping with sarcasm. "Just passing by. The way I see it." She gestures towards the silent blue-haired girl and continues her mockery with a cruel smirk. "You still can't get over Sister Lingxuan, so you followed us here like a sticky pest, right?" Yichuan's eyes widen slightly. In his distorted vision, Zhu Lingxuan appears as a blue-haired pig. She fixes her gaze on him and calls out his name, Yichuan. She continues her confrontation, staring him down with a stern look. Her voice is low and threatening as she delivers a warning to him. "I think I made myself very clear last time." She coldly stated that they were people from two different worlds now, and demanded that he stop pestering her. Yichuan stood firm, his irritation visible as he endured her words. Suddenly, Liu Jinglong yells furiously, "Yichuan, you still dare to show your face in front of me? Great, I was just worried I couldn't find you." Liu Jinglong transformed, his body radiating a strong purple energy. His face became a sinister mask with glowing red eyes as he gripped a sword that pulsed with the same dark purple light. Another student nearby gasped in awe. Brother Jinglong's sword. That luster, could it have already reached yellow rank? Low grade. This should be considered a true spirit weapon. An older man with a long white mustache watched Liu Jinglong, his eyes thoughtful. He mused. In just a few short days, Liu Jinglong, who is already a 4th rank apprentice, has actually obtained a yellow rank, low-grade spirit weapon. The older man continued, his thoughts confirming his earlier belief. I was right about this kid. He's a genius. With his current strength, he could fight evenly with a 6th-rank apprentice. Behind him, Zhu Lingxuan and 2 other men appeared. The woman looked at Yi Chuan, her expression stern. Yi Chuan, I warned you to leave King Cheng. This time, I will not step in to help you again. Xia Nanan, looking worried, turned to Yi Chuan. Yi Chuan, do you have a grudge with these people? She asked. Ignoring her concern, Yi Chuan looked away, asking a question that seemed out of place. How much is a yellow-rank, low-grade spirit weapon worth? It could probably sell for several 100,000. She exclaimed, throwing her hands up slightly. Hey, do you even understand the current situation? Meanwhile, the red-haired student watched Yi Chuan and the girl from a distance. He gritted his teeth, thinking about their last encounter. To him, Yi Chuan had stolen the show last time. He decided this time would be different. He thought to himself, this time, I must steal it back. With a fierce roar, the red-haired student leaped into the air, swinging a massive sword down towards Yi Chuan. Yi Chuan swung his cleaver with all his might, a powerful purple glow surrounding the blade. The principal and Zhu Lingxuan watched, their faces filled with utter shock as the scene unfolded before them. Liu Jinglong's face twisted in a snarl of fury and determination. He yelled, my true strength. With a deafening clang, Yi Chuan's glowing cleaver met the red-haired student's sword. Sparks of purple and blue energy exploded at the point of impact. The force of Liu Jinglong's sword strike shattered Yi Chuan's knife in half, and the broken tip fell straight to the ground. The red-haired student roared in anger, his body glowing with purple energy. He clutched his spirit weapon, a massive blade, and threatened Yi Chuan. What's a stinking pig butcher like you being so arrogant for? I'll make it so you can't even butcher a pig in the future. The principal watched with a worried expression, knowing that an ordinary blade was nothing against a spirit weapon. He silently wondered why Yi Chuan had been so foolish as to provoke him. Yi Chuan remained calm, even as his axe floated beside him. He looked at the enraged Liu Jinglong and stated simply, I don't need a knife to deal with you. Liu Jinglong's face twisted further in fury. His eyes narrowed. What? You're still not convinced? Then don't blame me for not being polite. With a final shout of die, Liu Jinglong brought his glowing spirit weapon crashing down. But Yi Chuan was ready, blocking the powerful strike with his bare arm. Yi Chuan didn't just block. He counterattacked with a powerful punch. Liu Jinglong was sent flying backward from the sheer force of the blow. Liu Jinglong crashed hard onto the ground. The brown-haired student rushed over, yelling, Brother Jinglong. Even the old man with long white hair looked completely shocked by the sudden turn of events. The brown-haired student helped Liu Jinglong up, asking, Are you all right? Liu Jinglong groaned in pain, clutching his face. Liu Jinglong gritted his teeth, trying to fight through the pain. Though he assured the others he was fine, the pain had him on the verge of passing out, and holding on became his only thought. The old man, his eyes narrowed, looked at Yi Chuan. Yi Chuan, he said, his voice serious, have you already reached the level of a 7th-rank apprentice? Around him, the other students looked on with a mix of shock and worry, as Liu Jinglong was still being helped by his friend. A hand reached out to grasp a beautifully crafted sword. Yi Chuan picked it up, a surprised sound escaping him. He looked at the blade, thinking to himself, this knife looks really good. Nearby, a young man with brown hair looked shocked, speaking to the principal. Did that kid really reach the 7th-rank apprentice level? Sister Lingxuan is only at the 6th rank. The principal, looking thoughtful, explained, it's possible. Even though the realm divisions for life-type and combat-type professions are the same, their methods of leveling up are completely different. He continued, explaining how combat-type professions need hard training, fighting, and gaining insight into combat techniques. This makes their initial growth slower. But he added, once they have a breakthrough, their growth speed becomes much faster. The principal then contrasted this with life-type professions, which he said have it much easier. He gave examples like alchemists and weaponsmiths, who just focus on their craft. He pointed out Yi Chuan, the pig butcher, as an example. Yi Chuan only needed to kill pigs every day to raise his realm in the early stages, relying on his high core stats. Zhu Lingxuan, with her long blue hair and blue dress, listened intently. She then asked, her expression serious, isn't that too unfair to combat-type professions? The old man with the long white hair continued his explanation, detailing how Yi Chuan's challenge would only get harder. He explained that each time Yi Chuan advanced a realm, the number of pigs he'd need to kill would double. By the time he reached the Ascension realm, the number of pigs required to advance again would be an astronomical figure. However, he added that combat-type professions, once they mastered their fighting techniques in the early stages, would find their later advancements becoming much faster. A student listening intently looked surprised. He asked, In other words, that kid is relying on his high realm to beat Brother Jinglong now. But in a few years, he'll be completely dominated by combat-type professions. The old man simply hummed in agreement, a small bead of sweat appearing on his face. Yuan then turned, giving a small wave. If there's nothing else, I'll be going. As he left, Zhu Lingxuan, her blue hair framing a worried expression, looked at Yuan. Yuan, why must you put yourself through this? She asked. Did you spend all this time desperately killing pigs to raise your realm just to show me? With a smug tone, she told Yuan she wanted to be honest. She had already been admitted to the Sky Dome Academy, which meant they were now people from two different worlds. Behind Yuan, the brown-haired woman in the red dress looked shocked. I can't watch this anymore, she cried out. Zia Nanan stepped forward, placing her hands on her hips, her expression firm. She challenged the group. Are you guys done yet? Yuan is accompanying me to find the blood moon flower, she continued, her voice rising with annoyance. Running into you all was purely a case of having bad luck today. So, what are you all wildly assuming over here? A female student with brown hair and a beige top scoffed, gesturing dismissively. So someone actually treats the scumbag that Sister Lingxuan didn't want as a treasure. You must be blind, another male student sneered. Exactly, this Yuan has no other skills, but he's certainly good at hooking up with women. He's already hooked up with a new one so quickly. A bitch and a dog, a love to last forever. Suddenly, a powerful slap connected with everyone's face. Even the principal was caught in the blast, clutching his reddened cheek in shock. Why are you hitting me too? He pondered. Zia Nanan stood beside Yuan, her face twisted in a scowl. She let out an angry sound. Zhu Lingxuan, also holding her cheek, glared with fury. You dare to hit me? She demanded. Suddenly, a glowing sword appearing in her hand as a bright aura surrounded her. Are you looking to die? She threatened, her voice filled with power. Zia Nanan held up a glowing green talisman, a defiant look on their face. Just you try and lay a finger on me, she challenged. The principal's eyes widened in fear as he yelled for her to stop, immediately stepping in to prevent Zhu Lingxuan from acting. He had realized who the brown-haired girl was, thinking that it was no wonder she looked so familiar. She was actually the eldest young miss of the Zia family. Principal Zhao quickly turned to Zia Nanan, a nervous smile on his face. Miss Zia, what are you doing here? He asked. The brown-haired girl just let out a dismissive sound. Miss Zia crossed her arms, her expression stern. It's none of your business. I'll go wherever I want, she declared. She continued. You, on the other hand, Principal Zhao, the quality of your esteemed school students is truly worrying. He bowed deeply, his face full of apologies. Yes, it is my mistake, he stammered. I will be sure to discipline them properly when we get back. Zia Nanan pointed directly at Zhu Lingxuan, her voice firm. Make her apologize to Yuan. The blue-haired woman's eyes narrowed, a mix of surprise and anger on her face. She thought, she's Zia Beihai's daughter. Another thought crossed her mind. Why is she with Yuan? Principal Zhao glared at the blue-haired woman. Apologize now. Do you hear me? He demanded. Yuan watched as Zhu Lingxuan woman reluctantly crossed her arms and looked down. She muttered, I'm sorry. Her eyes narrowed, filled with a burning rage. She thought, the Zia family. Just you wait. Yuan gently pushed the brown-haired woman forward. Let's go, he said. I'll miss the last bus if I wait any longer. Suddenly, the red-haired man, Liu Jinglong, appeared, kneeling and pointing at Yuan. Get back here, he yelled. Give me back my green peak saber. Yuan glanced back at the kneeling man as he walked away with the brown-haired woman. If you've got the guts, he challenged, come and take it back yourself. I'll be waiting. Liu Jinglong, still on his knees, roared, his face contorted in anger. He clenched his fists. Just you wait, he screamed, promising revenge. A few moments later, they arrived at a desolate, otherworldly landscape. Twisted, bare trees stood on rocky cliffs under a pale sky. Zia Nanan held a small paper. She looked down at a map, pointing to a marked spot. This looks like the place, she said, her voice serious. We need to be careful. In front of Yuan, a blue system screen appeared. It confirmed that his exclusive butcher knife had been selected, activating its god-slaying sharp edge. The system stated that for every pig he killed with this knife, he would gain 0.2 free attributes points. Yuan held the bloody knife, thinking, 0.2, it's doubled. It seems choosing a good knife is very necessary. Zia Nanan pulled 2 pills, one blue and one red, right out of her chest, which took Yuan by surprise. Taken aback by where she had stored them, he jokingly asked if her chest was actually a treasure chest. Blushing slightly, she revealed that the item was a Thunderfire Pearl. She noted its terrifying power, capable of harming even an Ascension Realm expert, and stated that they would use it as a trump card to save themselves when they faced the Blood Moon serpent. Yuan, now holding his sword, stepped onto a rocky platform overlooking a glowing cave. He told her, "You're ruthless. I'll go up and take a look first." As Yuan moved forward, finding himself surrounded by vibrant red flowers, he looked visibly excited. Ziananan cheered that they had actually found it, realizing it wasn't an ordinary blood moon flower but a rare blood crystal twin flower, and exclaimed how incredibly lucky she was. As Yuan held up one of the red flowers, Ziananan looked shocked by what stood behind him. A massive and terrifying python with glowing red eyes appeared behind him. It was the famous blood moon great python. Surprised, he turned back to look at the monster, but to him, even this terrifying creature looked like a pig. Yuan faced a giant blood moon great python with glowing red eyes, casually holding a small flower. He asked, "What are you looking at?" Never seen someone pick a flower. The massive python paused, its demonic pig-like head looking genuinely confused by this human's question. Suddenly, Yuan turned and ran, with the sword in one hand and the flower in the other, leaving the blood moon great python behind. While he was running for his life, he saw Ziananan on the opposite cliff. He yelled to her, "Don't just stand there stupidly. Do something." She then prepared the dangerous Thunderfire beads and screamed to him to be careful, and threw it at the blood moon great python that was behind Yuan. The bead exploded right in the python's face with a massive fiery blast. The shockwave threw Yuan back. Ziananan, worried, called out, "Yuan, are you okay?" As he slid across the ground from the explosion backlash, they both found themselves near the cliff edge. Ziananan was stunned by the bead's destructive power. As they watched the creature, its long giant body started to fall down the cliff face and dove into the darkness below. With the danger over, Yuan held out the glowing flower to her. "For you, the blood crystal twin flower." Ziananan looked surprised and happy. Still on the ground, he asked her what this flower was used for. She then explained, "The blood crystal twin flower is a mutated version of the blood moon flower. A regular blood moon flower can slow the aging process, but the blood crystal twin flower can grant eternal youth. What woman in the world wouldn't want a face that never ages?" While getting up from the ground, he understood the flower's usefulness. He realized that his mother would definitely love it. Then with a jump, he went back to the now empty and safe python cave. While Ziananan wondered if he would give her one more flower, Yuan pulled out a second blood crystal twin flower. She thought to herself, "This boy is finally getting the hint," but instead of giving it to her, he carefully placed the flower into his backpack. Suddenly, a deafening roar shook the ground. The blood moon great python appeared near the cliff again, right between them. Ziananan looked shocked. She couldn't believe the monster survived the Thunderfire Pearl. She realized this blood moon great python must be incredibly strong, almost at the peak of a 9th rank apprentice. Yuan, still holding his knife, asked Ziananan if she had any more of those beads. Ziananan, looking shocked, told him her dad only gave her one. The blood moon great python stood dangerously in front of Yuan, looking ready to attack. Yuan activated his blood shadow butcher ability, the skill that releases a killing aura and forces pigs into a state of fear. The python froze for a second, completely freaked out by the nightmare vision in its mind, just like a pig ready to be slaughtered. Taking advantage of the stunned python, Yuan escaped and grabbed Ziananan, asking her why she didn't run yet. Ziananan, however, looked at him with a blush. She told him she was waiting for him to pick the other blood crystal flower for her. Yuan, with a surprised look, told her that one was for his mom. Looking shocked by the revelation, she blurted out, "What?" But then the effect of the blood shadow butcher skill wore off and the blood moon great python attacked, ready to swallow them with its massive jaws, and the girl screamed, "It's over. We're not going to make it." Yuan, annoyed, thought, "This woman is such a hassle." He pushed her out of the way just as the monster's mouth closed. The monster's attack created a huge impact, swallowing him whole. The girl, now on the ground, looked up in horror and cried out, "Yuan!" Even though the python stood in front of her, Ziananan desperately called out, "Yuan, can you hear me? Come out." The python turned toward her, ready to swallow her too. But suddenly, a glowing red light erupted from inside its throat. A blade sliced through from the inside. The python screamed in agony as the sword ripped its head apart from within. Red rain poured. Frozen in place, The ponytail girl stared in shock. Then, Yuan burst out from inside the python's body, soaked head to toe in monster blood. He had literally butchered his way out. He looked at her casually. "Were you just calling me?" Relieved, she hugged him tightly, saying, "Thank goodness. You're okay. I would hate for someone to die because of me." But then she gagged and pushed him away. With a hand over her mouth, she said he was close to being digested and turned into the python's poop. Suddenly, a system notification popped up. It said he successfully killed a special pig-type creature. His pig bonus damage increased by 1%. Experience increased by 80%, and he leveled up to 8th rank apprentice. He also gained 0.2 free attribute points. Yuan then told her it was time to go back. They returned to the city gate, where a group of people waited. One of them, an older man with a beard, immediately recognized her and exclaimed, "Miss Zia, you're finally back." The man continued, saying she had worried him sick and that he was about to send men to look for her. Looking happy and proud, Zia Nanan revealed the glowing blood crystal twin flower to the man, saying, "My mother will surely be pleased." The man, who seemed to be an older guardian, scolded Miss Zia. "My lady, if you wanted the blood crystal flower, you could have just ordered a servant to find it. The areas outside the city are so dangerous. If anything had happened to you." Miss Zia, looking a bit flustered, replied, "I wanted to pick it for my mother myself. Besides, with his protection, there was no problem." She then gestured towards Yuan. The man turned his gaze to Yuan, his expression serious. "And who is this young man?" Looking surprised, he answered, "I'm Yuan, a pig butcher." The man looked at Yuan, thinking to himself. He wondered how Miss Zia could find a mere butcher to protect her, especially when the blood moon great python was known to appear where the blood crystal flower grew. He then questioned if Yuan truly managed to kill such a powerful beast. The man then offered a gold ring to Yuan. "Student Yi, you are truly promising for your age," he explained. "This gold ring from the Zia family is worth 200,000. I can give it to you as a reward for helping our young lady." Yuan, with wide, shocked eyes, quickly refused the offer. He didn't want the ring. All he wanted was a butcher knife. The man, looking surprised, repeated, "A butcher knife." He wondered why Yuan didn't want anything else. The old guardian thought, he doesn't want any of the good stuff, just a butcher knife. Is there something wrong with this kid's head? The woman in the red dress, Zia Nanan, explained to the man, "Mr. Zhao, Yuan wants to find the best weaponsmith in Qingcheng to forge a spirit weapon for him. This is what I promised him." Mr. Zhao nodded, saying, "I understand, my lady. Leave this matter to me. Have them escort you home first. The family head is worried sick." As Miss Zhang was leaving with her guards, she turned back to Yuan and called out, "Yuan, I'll see you again." Mr. Zhao then turned to Yuan, his tone serious. "Student Yi, although you saved our young lady, we can agree to any condition you propose. However, there is one thing. Please do not have any improper ideas about our young lady. Otherwise, things might not end well for anyone." Yuan, with a serious expression, thought to himself that the young lady was nothing more than a pig in his eyes. He then told the old man, "No problem. I promise I won't get involved with your young lady. I just want a top-tier spirit weapon." The old man, with his back to Yuan, explained, "Master Tai Xin, the best weaponsmith in Qingcheng, is good friends with our Zia family. I'll make the arrangements when I get back. You can go see him directly tomorrow." Back in the forest where the blood moon great python had been killed, its body, now being eaten by other animals, was discovered by a mysterious woman. The woman with long green hair, horns, and a revealing dress stood over the dead body. She was furious, thinking, "Killing my pet beast, stealing my spirit herb. This human is truly audacious." The woman's eyes glowed fiercely, her tongue flicking out like a snake's. She declared that she had memorized the human scent, making escape impossible. A terrifying red killing intent spread from her, frightening the nearby boar and wolf. Meanwhile, back in the city, the man who had caused all this trouble, Yuan, walked down a street, his large sword strapped to his back. He entered a building that was known for buying various beast materials at high prices. Inside, Yuan greeted the woman behind the counter and announced that he wanted to sell some beast materials. The woman looked surprised, noting Yuan's lean build. She was impressed that he managed to capture a silver-horned rhinoceros and offered him 10,000 for it. Yuan, still a bit overwhelmed by the offer, thought about how much his dad made. His dad got 100 for butchering one pig. This single rhinoceros horn was like butchering 100 pigs. He couldn't believe it. He then asked the woman if 10,000 could buy the item he was looking at. The woman smiled, telling him he had excellent taste. She explained that the gold scale soft armor was made from the scales of a sharp-clawed fire serpent. It was great for defense and kept you warm or cool, but good things cost more, and this one was 150,000. Yi Chuan's eyes widened. 150,000. Dad would have to butcher 1,500 pigs in a row to earn that. He reflected that this curse might be due to his parents' job as butchers. Then an idea sparked in his mind. He pulled out the green peak saber he had taken from Liu Jinglong. What if I trade this for it? He asked, holding it up. The woman's eyes widened in surprise. Is this a yellow-rank, low-grade spirit weapon? She exclaimed, clearly impressed. Of course, that's more than enough, she quickly confirmed, her tone shifting to one of eagerness. She helped him put on the golden scale armor, which shimmered as it settled perfectly on his body. This gold scale soft armor seems like it was tailor-made for you, she said, a wide smile on her face. The woman's thoughts raced. She realized this kid had many valuable things and must have a high-level combat profession. She thought, if I can just seduce this naive kid, I might not have to worry for the rest of my life. The woman, still trying to seduce him, told Yi Chuan that a trade like this would usually cost 10,000 for the service fee, but she would waive the fee because he was handsome. She added that he would have to find a way to thank her. She then asked him about his profession. Yi Chuan, looking a bit confused, replied, I'm a pig butcher. The woman was instantly shocked and disappointed by his profession. Later, Yi Chuan arrived at his home, the Yi residence. He proudly presented a flower to his mother, saying, Mom, this is for you. His mother, wide-eyed and shocked, recognized the flower. This is a blood crystal twin flower. How did you get this? Yi Chuan's mother, still holding the flower, looked at him with a mix of surprise and worry. She asked if he had stolen it. Yi Chuan quickly denied it, explaining that he found it in the wilderness after seeing two large snakes fighting. His mother scolded him, reminding him how dangerous the area outside the city was, especially for mere pig butchers like them. While pinching his face, she warned him never to go there again, and Yi Chuan promised he wouldn't. His father let out a loud, joyful laugh, proud of his son. Suddenly, a loud voice from outside the house demanded, Yi Yuan, get out here. Yi Chuan's father, a man with a goatee, looked confused as he wondered who was calling him and went to ask who it was. A man with red hair and a stern expression. Liu Jinglong's father, Liu Xing, called out, Yi Yuan, I heard your son stole my Jinglong's green peak saber. Yi Yuan, looking stressed, replied, Brother Liu, is there some kind of mistake? He thought about Liu Xing, a childhood friend who was now a famous professional. Because of the great difference in our statuses, we haven't had much contact since growing up. He continued, Brother Liu, are you sure you're not mistaken? My son is just a pig butcher. How could he possibly steal your son's spirit weapon? Suddenly, Jinglong, Liu Xing's son, pointed at Yi Chuan and yelled, That's him. Liu Xing, with a furious expression, turned to Yi Yuan. Old friend, how can you still be so muddle-headed? You can't even raise your own son properly, letting him steal from others. He added, I already confirmed it with Principal Zhao before coming to find you. While Yi Chuan stood there confused, Liu Xing demanded that Yi Yuan ask his son whether he had done it or not. He then turned to Yi Chuan himself, asking what was really going on. Yi Chuan explained that Liu Jinglong had tried to kill him, and that he only took the saber. Considering everything, Liu Jinglong had gotten off easy. Panicking and replying quickly, as if afraid of being exposed, Liu Jinglong insisted that it was nonsense and that he never intended to kill him, claiming he only wanted to spar. Looking furious, Liu Xing said that out of respect for Yi Yuan, he would not pursue the matter if Yi Chuan returned the saber. Yi Chuan coldly replied that the green peak saber had already been sold. Hearing this, everyone present stared in utter shock, their faces twisted with disbelief. The man with the red hair and undercut, Liu Xing, looked shocked. He couldn't believe that the item had been sold. Liu Xing, still angry, told Yi Yuan, Good kid. In that case, compensate me. 1 million. Yi Yuan looked worried. He tried to reason with Liu Xing. 1 million is too much. A yellow-grade, low-tier spirit weapons market price is only around 200,000. Liu Xing's eyes narrowed. He coldly looked at Yi Yuan and said, You don't think I'm negotiating with you, do you? Hearing this, Yi Chuan stepped forward, looking upset. What did you say? He asked. His father quickly stopped him from escalating things and said, Fine, we'll pay you, but 1 million is no small amount. We'll need some time to gather the money. Liu Xing stared at them, his face stern. Old friend, since you can't discipline your son, I'll teach him a good lesson for you. I'll give you half a month to gather the money. If you can't get it by then, don't blame me for turning hostile." The red-haired father and son walked away. Liu Xing moved with his hands clasped behind his back, while Liu Jinglong glanced at Yi Chuan and gave him a smirk. Back home, Yi Chuan's mother, a woman with brown hair and a pink dress, asked her husband, "What do we do now? Wasn't he your childhood friend? Please go and beg him properly." Yi Chuan then said, "Later I'll bring some pork to his door and apologize. 1 million. Yi Chuan, standing nearby, then spoke up, "Dad, don't worry. I'll handle this." His father, a man with a beard and a gray robe, looked at him kindly. "Don't worry, son. Your dad doesn't blame you. This wasn't your fault to begin with." He continued, "But your dad just hopes that if you face difficulties in the future, you must tell mom and dad. Don't carry it all by yourself." Yi Chuan, with a determined look, thought to himself, "I must get a spirit weapon soon and raise my strength to climbing pond realm. Then Liu Xing won't be my match." Yi Chuan's mother looked at him with concern and asked, "Yi Chuan, are you hiding something from us?" Thinking to himself, he knew that the flour was valuable, and there was no way a normal pig butcher would get it. Yi Chuan realized he couldn't keep his secret forever. He looked at his parents and confessed, "Dad, Mom, actually, I'm not normal." His parents were shocked by the sudden revelation. His mothers then asked, "Son, you mean you don't like women?" Yi Chuan stared blankly and seriously nodded. His mother, with a reassuring hand on his hair, continued, "Son, your mom is very open-minded. If you like men, that's fine too. Boldly pursue your happiness." His father, sweating, chimed in, "Yeah, that's right." His mother added, "As long as you stay away from your dad, it's fine." Yi Chuan looked confused, not sure how to respond to his parents' strange advice. He finally blurted out, "No, Mom, I don't like women and I don't like men either." He then quickly clarified, "No, what I mean is, I have a bit of a mental condition, so I see all living creatures as pigs." Both his mother and father stared at him, their faces now looking like pigs, and asked, "All pigs?" His father, with a shocked expression, grabbed Yi Chuan by the shoulders and exclaimed, "Wait, you're a pig butcher, and you have a mental condition, and you see all creatures as pigs. And doesn't that mean you can treat every creature as a pig and kill it?" Yi Chuan, still looking dazed, simply replied, "Yeah." His mother, now with a hopeful look, turned to his father and asked, "Husband, doesn't that mean Yi Chuan can also count as a combat class?" His father replied, "Yes, of course he does." Then he said, "Son, come with me. It seems I need to teach you some real skills." A few moments later, while they climbed a stair uphill, his father said, "Your dad has slaughtered pigs for many years and created a pig-killing blade technique of his own." They reached the top of the hill, the wind blowing around them. "Today I will pass it on to you, so that if someone ever wants to take your life again, you have a way to defend yourself." Yi Chuan, looking a little guilty, replied, "Dad, I've already caused trouble and put our family $1 million in debt. Why are you still teaching me?" His father looked at him with warmth. "Even though $1 million is a lot, it's nowhere near as important as my son's safety." His father then pulled out a large, sharp butcher's knife. "The great Tao is simple, so is pig killing," he stated, holding the knife firmly. He looked at Yi Chuan with intense eyes. "Watch closely. I will only teach you 3 strikes." With the knife raised it above his head, while purple energy intensified around him, he let out a fierce shout. His face contorted in effort as he prepared to strike. With a powerful swing, he brought the knife down, the purple energy forming a massive, glowing arc. The attack was so strong, it seemed to split the very sky, revealing a full, glowing moon and a starry night behind it. The purple energy continued to surge, creating a stunning visual display against the cosmic backdrop. He completed his swing, the purple energy still radiating from his knife as he looked up at the sky. Yi Chuan looked up at the sky with wide, shocked eyes. He was clearly amazed by the power his father had just unleashed. The older man spoke, explaining the move. "The first strike is called Falling Star." The older man then demonstrated the second strike, leaping into the air with his blade, which glowed with a bright blue light. He spun through the air, creating a powerful vortex of energy, and completed his move as if splitting the moon in half, calling it Falling Moon. His son, with wide eyes, cried out, "Dad, how did you do that? That's insane." His father, still in a crouching position, explained, "It's just the surrounding space twisting and folding your vision." He then looked up, a confident smirk on his face, and announced, "The third strike is called." He brought his arm down, a powerful orange energy radiating from him, and declared, "Devouring Sun." The energy exploded outwards, creating a bright flash. Yi Chuan, looking surprised, asked his dad, "Dad, is this really for killing pigs?" "What kind of pig?" "Pigs from Journey to the West." His dad told him, "No need to ask, just learn it. One day you'll use it." Yi Chuan replied, "I will learn it well." Then his dad asked, "Where's your pig-killing blade?" Yi Chuan said, "That one was broken." His dad then offered, "Then use my blade for now." His father handed him a large, heavy blade. Shocked by its weight, Yi Chuan fell to the ground and exclaimed, "So heavy." His dad told him to train hard, and then went back to sleep. Yi Chuan thought about how heavy the blade was, and realized his dad had been using such a heavy blade to slaughter pigs all these years. He found it unbelievable. Yi Chuan, holding the heavy blade, started to practice. As he swung, he lost his balance and fell to the ground. His father, watching from a distance, said, "Silly kid." He then added that once Yi Chuan reached the realm of Seal Kings, these 3 strikes would be powerful enough to cut down even the heavens. Want more content right now? Check out the Dungeon Crawler Carl audiobook. The series has 135 hours of pure dungeon chaos. Start listening to the first book for free with the link in the description.